Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely, because today you're going to discover a law that has shaped fortunes, built empires, and transformed lives long before you and I ever existed. And that law is simple: your words create money. Not your job, not your circumstances, not luck, not chance, your words. Every time you speak, you send out a vibration, a frequency, a command, and the universe listens. Some people speak poverty so fluently that money is afraid to come near them. Some people speak abundance so confidently that wealth cannot help but follow them. So I ask you, what have your words been creating when you say, "Nothing ever works for me. Money slips through my fingers. I can't afford that"? You are not describing your life, you are instructing it. Your words are workers, and they obey. But when you speak with power, when I speak, money responds. Everything I need arrives on time. The universe is my supplier, my source, my unlimited well of abundance. A shift begins. A movement starts in the unseen realm. Your life rearranges itself to match your declaration. Money is energy. It responds to certainty. It responds to authority. It responds to the voice that knows its value. Speak as if the money you desire is already yours. Walk as if your bank account is already full. Bless the opportunities you cannot see yet, because faith spoken aloud becomes a force that bends reality. Whenever a negative thought appears, don't bow to it. Replace it, transform it, substitute it. If lack whispers, "You don't have enough," you reply, "I have more than enough." If fear says, "You won't make it," you declare, "Everything I need comes to me at the right time." You cannot hold two beliefs at once, so choose the one that builds you. Gratitude is the amplifier. Speak it aloud and watch your blessings multiply. Say thank you for money that hasn't arrived yet, because in the spiritual realm, it has already been sent. And if your heart is heavy with resentment, release it. Unforgiveness is a closed fist, and a closed fist cannot receive wealth. Speak forgiveness, speak release, allow the flow to return. You are not waiting on money. Money is waiting on your words. Say it with strength, with conviction, with authority. My words create my wealth. Money flows to me now. I am aligned with prosperity. Everything I speak becomes my reality. When you speak powerfully, you think differently. When you think differently, you act differently. And when you act differently, your entire financial destiny shifts. Remember this truth: you do not chase abundance, you call it, you command it, you speak it into being. Your words are your greatest currency. Use them wisely, use them boldly, use them with faith, and money will find its way to your door, always, and without fail. Every word you speak is a silent architect of your reality. Most people wander through life believing that speech is casual, harmless, and without consequence. Yet the truth is far more profound. Words are not empty vibrations. They are instruments of creation. They carry intention, energy, and direction. They shape the unseen before they shape the seen. Every sentence you utter sends out a signal, a frequency that sets events in motion. The world you live in today is the echo of the words you spoke yesterday. Your speech is a powerful magnet, constantly attracting or repelling opportunities, wealth, relationships, and experiences. Think of your words as seeds. A seed may be small, almost invisible, but once planted, it begins working beneath the surface long before you see the result. Your words operate the same way. You may speak something today and forget you ever said it, but those words continue to grow, take form, and eventually manifest in your life. People speak casually about lack, disappointment, sickness, and failure, not realizing they are planting the exact conditions they wish to escape. Every complaint is a seed. Every worry spoken aloud is a seed. Every declaration of defeat is a seed. When the harvest comes, they wonder why life seems heavy and unfair, unaware that their words authored the very reality they dislike. Your speech is always creating, even when you are not aware of it. When you say, "I can't afford that," you instruct your life to deny you the ability to afford it. When you say, "Everything goes wrong for me," you command circumstances to align with that belief. When you say, "Money slips through my hands," You give permission for financial instability to enter. The universe is literal. It does not interpret sarcasm, emotion, or exaggeration. It responds to the vibration behind the words. If the vibration is lack, it delivers lack. If the vibration is abundance, it delivers abundance. People often underestimate the spiritual weight of speech. Words are not simply sounds formed by the mouth. They are forces formed by the soul. The moment you speak something with emotion, whether frustration, fear, excitement, or faith, you breathe life into that statement. Emotion is electricity. Words are the wires. When emotion charges your speech, the current becomes stronger and the manifestation becomes faster. This is why words spoken in anger or fear often have powerful negative effects, while words spoken in confidence and gratitude create powerful blessings. Every spoken word is a command, not a suggestion. Speech is the tool through which you instruct your reality on how it must behave. It's not optional, it is law. When you say, "I never find good opportunities," the law responds as spoken, so shall it be. When you say, "Money always finds me," the law responds with the same obedience. Many people pray for abundance while speaking poverty. They desire success while speaking failure. They want love while speaking bitterness. They do not realize that speech is stronger than desire. Desire is a wish. Words are orders. If you observe people who are consistently prosperous, you will notice that they speak differently. They speak confidently about their future, even when circumstances look uncertain. They speak possibility, not limitation. They speak solution, not struggle. They speak abundance, not scarcity. They understand the law of spoken word, whether consciously or instinctively. Their speech aligns them with opportunity, favor, and financial flow. Even when they fail, they speak as though success is inevitable, and because they speak it, it becomes so. Your words also instruct your subconscious mind. The subconscious does not evaluate truth or falsehood. It simply absorbs and obeys whatever it hears repeatedly. If you tell it, "I am unlucky," it organizes your behavior, your perception, and your emotional patterns to reflect that belief. If you tell it, "I am wealthy," it begins working quietly to align your habits, decisions, and responses with a wealthy identity. This is why affirmations work, not because they are magical sentences, but because they reshape the internal framework through which you experience life. The spoken word is one of the oldest spiritual tools known to humanity. In ancient traditions across the world, creation begins with speech. Entire worlds are formed through words. Sacred texts and wisdom teachings agree on one truth: speech carries divine creative power. Whether you believe in spirituality, psychology, or simple energetic laws, the result is the same. Your words shape your world. When you realize this, you begin to guard your speech with the same care you would guard your finances, your time, or your health. Most people speak their fears more than they speak their faith. They speak their obstacles more than their opportunities. They speak about what they see instead of what they want. This is backwards. Vision comes first, manifestation follows. If you only speak the reality you currently see, you trap yourself in it. Your words should not describe your life. They should design it. Speak the money you desire. Speak the opportunities you want. Speak the lifestyle you intend to create. Speak even when nothing seems to be happening. Speak even when others doubt you. Words carry forward even when the world hasn't caught up yet. Your speech is a tool. It can build or destroy. It can elevate or diminish. It can open doors or close them. Every sentence you speak carries a frequency that either expands your life or restricts it. The moment you understand this, you become a conscious creator rather than an accidental one. You begin choosing your words with intention. You become aware of the power behind every phrase, and slowly your reality begins to shift because your words have shifted. The law is simple. You cannot speak abundance and live in lack. You cannot speak confidence and live in fear. You cannot speak wealth and remain poor. Your words will always pull your life in their direction. So speak deliberately, speak boldly. Speak as someone who knows their words carry power. Because they do, far more than you've ever realized. Money is not a cold, lifeless object. It is not just paper, metal, or digits on a screen. It is energy, pure, responsive, intelligent energy, and like all energy, it moves towards certain frequencies and away from others. Your words determine that frequency. Each phrase you speak either opens the pathway for money to flow to you or blocks it entirely. Money listens. It observes the vibration behind your speech, the intention behind your tone, and the truth behind your beliefs. Long before money reaches your hands, it reaches your words. People often think they are broke because of circumstances. A difficult job market, low income, bad luck, family problems, missed chances. But the real issue is usually the vibration they are sending out through speech. When a person speaks constantly about what they lack, they anchor themselves into the frequency of lack. When they complain about how hard life is, they reinforce that difficulty. When they declare that money is scarce, difficult, or untrustworthy, they create a subconscious barrier that repels financial flow. Money responds to certainty. It responds to confidence. It responds to the vibration of someone who speaks abundance as if it were their identity, not their wish. It does not respond to desperation. It does not respond to fear. It does not respond to begging. When you speak from a place of fear, I hope something changes. I don't think I can make it. I never have enough. You vibrate at a frequency that money cannot attach to. It's like trying to tune into a radio station, but the dial is set between frequencies. Nothing comes through clearly. Your words act as a tuning mechanism. When you speak prosperity, you tune yourself to the frequency where prosperity already exists. You align yourself with opportunities, ideas, and inspiration that match abundance. When you speak doubt, you tune yourself into the frequency where opportunities seem invisible, where ideas feel blocked, and where nothing seems to move. The world does not become better or worse. It simply reflects the signal you are broadcasting with your words. Think about people who are naturally abundant. Even in uncertain times, they say things like, "I'll find a way." Opportunities always show up. There's always more coming. They are not naive. They are in alignment. Their speech is a demonstration of inner wealth, and inner wealth attracts outer wealth. Money gravitates toward people who speak like they expect it, who speak like they deserve it, who speak like they are comfortable with it. Your relationship with money is reflected in your words long before it shows up in your bank account. The frequency of your words influences not only the outside world, but also your inner world. Every time you speak something about money, you program your subconscious mind with that belief. If you repeatedly say, "I'm always struggling," your subconscious accepts that as fact and adjusts your behavior accordingly. You miss chances, sabotage opportunities, and overlook solutions because your inner frequency is aligned with struggle. In contrast, when you say, "Money flows to me," your subconscious begins scanning your environment for ways to make that true. It heightens your awareness of opportunities you previously ignored. It increases your creativity, your courage, and your confidence. It moves you toward the frequency that matches your words. You can see this clearly when two people face the same challenge. One says, "This is impossible," and immediately their frequency drops. Creativity shuts down. Solutions disappear. The other person says, "I know there's a way," and as soon as they speak it, their energy shifts. Suddenly new ideas emerge, new possibilities appear, new directions open. The circumstances didn't change, but their frequency did. And because the frequency changed, the outcomes changed. Money responds to emotion as well. When you speak with frustration, "Why is money so hard for me?" you broadcast a vibration of resistance. Money does not flow through resistance. When you speak with jealousy, "Why do others have it easier?" You broadcast a vibration of comparison, which blocks your own path. When you speak with anger, nothing ever works. You broadcast a vibration that repels opportunities. Emotion amplifies your words. Negative emotion intensifies the block. Positive emotion intensifies the flow. So when you speak with joy, I welcome abundance. That joy becomes a magnet. When you speak with gratitude, I appreciate everything I have. That gratitude multiplies your financial energy. When you speak with confidence, I always find what I need. That confidence calls money to you with greater speed. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you vibrate. And your words are the most direct way to control your vibration. It is not necessary to have money in your hands to speak the frequency of wealth. Many people wait for evidence before they speak with confidence, but that is backward. Confidence creates the evidence. The frequency comes first, the manifestation comes second. You must speak the abundance you want before you see it. When you speak only what you see, you remain stuck in what you see. When you speak what you desire, you move toward what you desire. Money respects boldness, it responds to expectation. When you speak as if you already have financial flow, you move into alignment with the version of you who does. Some people believe that talking positively about money is unrealistic. They call it silly, naive, or overly optimistic. They think that complaining is logical, but speaking abundance is delusion. But complaining drains your frequency and pushes money away. Speaking abundance strengthens your frequency and pulls money closer. Which one is truly unrealistic? The pattern that makes life worse, or the pattern that opens the way for improvement? Even the smallest shift in language can produce a massive shift in energy. Instead of saying, I'm broke, you can say, money is reorganizing itself to reach me. Instead of saying, I can't afford that, you can say, this isn't a priority right now. Instead of saying, I never get opportunities, you can say, I attract opportunities that are aligned with me. These simple adjustments elevate your frequency without forcing you to lie to yourself. Money responds to your frequency the same way metal responds to a magnet. When your words broadcast the vibration of lack, the magnet weakens. When your words broadcast the vibration of abundance, the magnet strengthens. You do not chase money, you attract it by becoming a match for it. And the fastest way to change your frequency is to change your words. When you declare what you desire, you are not merely speaking. You are activating one of the oldest and most powerful spiritual laws in existence. There is a creative force inside every human being, but it remains dormant until you give it direction. Direction is given through intention, and intention becomes most powerful when it is spoken aloud. A desire kept only in the mind is like a seed locked in a box that holds potential, but it cannot grow. The moment you speak it, you plant it into the fertile soil of the universe. You offer it to the unseen forces that shape the course of life. You give it permission to move, to form, to begin aligning itself with you. Speaking your desire is not about shouting into the air. It's about claiming your place as a creator in your own story. It's about acknowledging that what you want is valid, worthy, and possible. When you speak your desire boldly, something remarkable happens inside you. Your identity shifts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wants something and start seeing yourself as someone who is already connected to it. This shift is the spark that ignites manifestation. The universe responds not to desperation, but to certainty, and your words are what transform desire into certainty. Every spoken desire becomes a declaration, a form of faith. It is a statement that says, I believe in what I am calling forth. For most people, the problem is not that they fail to desire, it is that they fail to declare. They keep their dreams locked inside out of fear of disappointment, fear of judgment, or fear of failure. They believe that speaking a desire prematurely might curse it, but the truth is the opposite. What you do not speak cannot grow. If you want financial freedom, speak it. If you want success, speak it. If you want clarity, opportunity, love, confidence, or abundance, speak it. Your words announce your intention to the world and to yourself. Speech is also a tool of alignment. When you say, I am ready for new opportunities, you begin noticing opportunities you once overlooked. When you say, money flows to me, you become aware of possibilities, ideas, and openings that match that statement. You pick up on cues you were blind to before. Your mind becomes tuned to the frequency of what you desire. Declaring your desire, like tuning a radio station. The music was always available, but you didn't hear it until you turned the dial. Your words turn the dial. They tune you to the channel where your desires already exist. People often assume that manifestation works through emotion alone, or thoughts alone, or intention alone, but speech ties all these together. When you speak something aloud, you activate thought, emotion, belief, imagination, and physical vibration simultaneously. It engages your entire being. Your words reach your mind, your subconscious, your emotions, and the spiritual field around you all at once. This is why declarations feel powerful. You can sense the energy move through you the moment you speak them, but declarations must be spoken with conviction. When you declare what you want in a hesitant or doubtful voice, your vibration becomes split. One part of you speaks abundance, another part whispers lack. One part declares success while another part fears failure. The universe responds not to the words you say, but to the vibration behind them. If you speak your desire with worry, you create more worry. If you speak it with faith, you create momentum. This is why it is essential to speak your desires as if they are already in motion, as if they have already begun manifesting, as if you trust the process even if you cannot yet see the results. When you declare your desire boldly, you begin reprogramming your subconscious mind. Many people sabotage their dreams because their inner dialogue contradicts their outer desires. They want money, but internally they say, I'll never be wealthy. They want success, but internally they say, I'm not good enough. They want abundance, but internally they say, people like me don't get ahead. Declarations override these limitations. When spoken repeatedly, they carve new pathways in the mind. They create mental blueprints that guide your actions and decisions. They shift your behavior toward the fulfillment of the desire you declared. There is also something deeply magnetic about spoken desire. When you say, I attract profitable opportunities, those opportunities begin seeking you, not because the words themselves are magical, but because they alter your vibration. Your vibration influences your decisions. Your decisions shape your outcomes. Your outcomes mirror your words. It becomes a loop, a powerful self-reinforcing cycle that begins with the act of speaking. When you declare what you desire, you also build spiritual authority. Authority is not loudness, it is clarity. It is not aggression, it is conviction. It is not arrogance, it is ownership. When you speak something with authority, you become a vessel through which the forces of creation move more quickly. Declaring your desires creates a kind of spiritual momentum. The more you speak it, the more real it becomes, internally first, then externally. Many people expect the external world to shift first, but internal shift is always the beginning of all manifestation. Your declarations also signal readiness. The universe does not deliver blessings to those who are terrified of receiving them. It delivers to those who say, I am prepared. I am available. I am willing. When you speak your desire aloud, you move from hoping to choosing, from wishing to claiming, from wanting to allowing. You open the door to what you desire and invite it in. Every declaration is also a form of trust. It says, even if I cannot see the how, I believe in the outcome. Trust is powerful because it dissolves resistance. It removes the inner static that blocks your blessings. The moment you speak from trust, you align yourself with flow instead of struggle. You step into harmony with the natural abundance that exists all around you. Speaking your desire is not about forcing the universe to give you something. It is about aligning yourself with what is already available. Abundance exists. Opportunities exist. Wealth exists. Your words position you to meet them. By declaring what you desire, you activate a spiritual law that responds to clarity. Clarity draws manifestation closer. Uncertainty pushes it away. Your words give life to what you want. They animate your dreams. They send your desire into motion, much like a command sends a ship into the water. Every declaration is a launch. Once spoken, your desire begins to move toward you, guided by the frequency of your voice, the conviction of your heart, and the energy of your intention. There is a spiritual and energetic truth many people never realize. Every negative word you speak becomes a barrier, a block, a wall between you and the abundance that is meant for you. Words of doubt, fear, anger, complaint, frustration, jealousy, and limitation do not simply disappear into the air after they are spoken. They settle into the atmosphere of your life. They shape your expectations. They sculpt your beliefs. They create energetic patterns that your reality begins to obey without question. Negative speech is not harmless. It is profoundly creative, and unfortunately, it creates exactly what you do not want. That is why the ability to cancel negative words immediately is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Most people were never taught that their words hold weight. They believe talking about fears, problems, and lack is natural. They think venting is healthy, complaining is normal, and expressing frustration is necessary. But every time you speak about lack, you reinforce lack. Every time you speak about problems, you energize them. Every time you declare yourself unlucky, poor, tired, overwhelmed, or defeated, you are actually instructing your life to keep supplying those conditions. Speech is a command, and the universe is obedient. It does not filter your words. It does not evaluate intentions. Whatever you say repeatedly becomes the blueprint your life follows. But here is the saving grace. Negative words lose their power the moment you cancel them. Cancellation is an act of authority. It is the recognition that you spoke out of fear, out of habit, out of old programming, and you refuse to allow those words to create your future. Canceling a negative word is like turning off a switch before the electricity flows. The moment you say, "I cancel that," or "No, that is not my truth," you break the energetic charge of the negative statement. You stop its manifestation before it gains momentum. You take back control. Most people allow negative words to pass through their mouths without awareness. They say things like, "I never have enough money," "I always mess things up," "Everything is getting worse," "I can't do this," "I'm not lucky," "Life is unfair," "I don't know how I'll survive." These words become affirmations of defeat. They replay in the subconscious mind over and over, strengthening beliefs that create more struggle. But the moment you become aware of your speech, you begin catching yourself. You begin interrupting old patterns. You begin canceling negative declarations before they sink in. Cancellation must be immediate. The faster you stop the old pattern, the less energy it has. When you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that," you immediately respond with, "I cancel that. I am open to new financial possibilities." When you hear yourself saying, "I always fail," you immediately say, "Cancel that. Everything is working in my favor." When you feel anger rising and you say something you don't want to create, you stop and declare, "I take that back. My life is moving forward." The speed of the correction is what weakens the negative vibration. You are rewriting your energetic script in real time. Some people hesitate to correct themselves because they fear sounding silly or overly spiritual. But there is nothing silly about protecting your future. There is nothing silly about guarding your energy. There is nothing silly about refusing to let careless words become self-fulfilling prophecies. You must become fierce about your speech. You must become protective of your reality. If your own words are shaping your life, then your own correction has the power to reshape it. Negative speech is often unconscious. It comes from old patterns learned from family, culture, or past experiences. Some people were raised hearing phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," "Life is hard," "We can't afford that," "Don't expect too much," "Success is for others," "People like us struggle." These words become the soundtrack of childhood and eventually the belief system of adulthood. But you are not required to continue repeating what you were taught. The moment you cancel an inherited belief, you break generational programming. You free yourself from energetic limitations passed down unknowingly. Canceling negative words also strengthens your inner discipline. It trains your mind to think differently. At first, you may notice negativity after you speak it. After some practice, you will begin noticing it before you speak it. Eventually, your entire inner language begins shifting. You stop attracting negativity because you no longer vibrate on that frequency. You stop creating lack because you no longer speak it. You stop affirming fear because you no longer identify with it. Your speech becomes a tool of creation instead of destruction. Every cancelled word is a spiritual reset. It says, I refuse this reality, I choose something higher, and the moment you choose higher, your energy shifts. Even if your circumstances remain the same for a moment, your frequency changes instantly. A changed frequency always brings new outcomes. What once felt stuck begins to loosen. What once felt blocked begins to open. What once felt impossible begins to rearrange. Canceling negative words is the first step toward allowing abundance to flow. Some people believe that negative words are harmless if spoken casually, but the subconscious mind does not understand jokes or exaggeration. If you say, I'm broke, even if you are joking, your subconscious registers it as a command. If you say, I'm unlucky, even in humor, your subconscious stores it as truth. The subconscious is the faithful servant of your spoken word. It does not question you, it obeys you. When you cancel negative words, you are giving your subconscious new instructions, and it follows them just as faithfully. This process is not about pretending life is perfect. It is about refusing to give power to words that harm your future. It is about recognizing your authority, your role as creator, your right to redirect your reality. Life changes the moment you become intentional with speech. The more you cancel old statements, the more your life aligns with new possibilities. You begin speaking differently. You begin feeling differently. You begin vibrating differently, and the universe responds differently. There is nothing more liberating than knowing you can withdraw the power from any negative word the moment it slips out. You can rewrite your reality as quickly as you create it. Your words may have shaped your past, but your awareness can shape your future. Canceling negative speech is not weakness. It is mastery. It is recognizing that you are in control of the energy you release into the world. It is choosing abundance over fear, clarity over confusion, faith over doubt, and power over passivity. The mind cannot hold two opposing thoughts at the same time with equal strength. One must dominate, one must lead, one must become the vibration that shapes your experience. This is the essence of the law of substitution, the recognition that the moment a thought of lack, fear, limitation, or worry enters your mind, you have the power to replace it with a higher thought. You do not have to fight the negative thought, analyze it, or wrestle with it. You simply substitute it. Just as darkness disappears the moment light enters a room, negative thought loses its power the moment a stronger, more positive thought is spoken or imagined. Substitution is not denial, it is redirection. It is intentional mental alchemy. It is choosing creation over reaction. The mistake most people make is that they allow negative thoughts to dominate because they engage them. They discuss them. They argue with them. They try to understand them. But the moment you give a negative thought your attention, you give it energy. Energy is the currency of manifestation. Whatever receives, energy grows. The law of substitution gives you an alternative. Instead of feeding what you do not want, you shift immediately into the vibration of what you do want. When fear whispers, you don't have enough, you do not answer fear with a debate. You answer it with a declaration, I am always provided for. When doubt says this might fail, you do not negotiate with it, you replace it with, everything is unfolding in my favor. Through substitution, you choose your thought, and by choosing your thought, you choose your reality. Substitution is most powerful when you apply it the moment a negative idea appears. At the first sign of worry, you speak abundance. At the first sign of fear, you speak certainty. At the first sign of lack, you speak supply. You do not wait until the negative thought becomes strong. You intercept it early, before it takes root, before it grows legs, before it shapes your emotion. Most struggles come not from the thought itself, but from the emotion that thought creates. If you substitute the thought quickly, the emotion never forms, and your energy remains aligned with abundance. This law does not deny the existence of challenges. Instead, it gives you a tool to remain empowered in the presence of challenges. You may look at your circumstances and see obstacles, bills, uncertainty, or setbacks. Those are facts, but your thoughts decide how those facts evolve. Facts are temporary, thoughts are creative. When you see a bill and think, I don't know how I'll pay this, you create a vibration of fear that makes the solution harder to see. But when you substitute that thought with, money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways, you keep your vibration open, creative, and receptive to solutions. The bill stays the same, but your energy changes, and when your energy changes, life rearranges. Substitution is a form of mental leadership. You stop being a follower of your thoughts and become the commander of them. You recognize that your mind is not the authority, you are. Thoughts will come from old patterns, old fears, old beliefs, old pain, and old experiences. They may rise automatically because they were repeated for years. But your awareness gives you control. A thought may enter, but you decide whether it stays. You decide whether it grows. You decide whether it becomes a belief, and beliefs become your reality. Substitution interrupts old beliefs and replaces them with new ones. The law of substitution works because the mind can only focus on one dominant idea at a time. When you choose the higher thought, the lower thought loses its influence. You elevate your vibration instantly. You shift your internal narrative. You create a different emotional atmosphere. Emotion is the magnet of manifestation. A negative thought that turns into fear, frustration, or worry pulls in negative outcomes. A substituted thought that creates gratitude, peace, excitement, or confidence pulls in positive outcomes. The emotional quality of your life changes the moment the quality of your thoughts changes. Some people believe they must first eliminate negative thinking entirely to attract abundance. That is unnecessary. Negative thoughts do not need to disappear. They simply need to lose control, and substitution removes their control. You cannot prevent a fear from entering your mind, but you can prevent it from settling. You cannot stop an old belief from echoing, but you can speak a higher truth over it. You cannot always stop doubt, but you can silence it with a stronger affirmation. Substitution shifts the power dynamic within you. You reclaim authority. This law also builds new neural pathways. Every time you choose a higher thought, you weaken the old mental pattern and strengthen the new one. Over time, your mind learns to default to positive thoughts automatically. The substitution becomes easier. Instead of fear being automatic, faith becomes automatic. Instead of lack being automatic, abundance becomes automatic. Instead of worry being automatic, calm becomes automatic. Your mind begins to support your desires instead of sabotaging them. There is profound spiritual significance in substitution as well. When you replace a thought of lack with I am supported, you align yourself with universal supply. When you replace fear with something good is coming, you align yourself with possibility. When you replace doubt with I trust the process, you align yourself with divine timing. Substitution is not only mental, it is vibrational. It moves you out of the frequency of resistance and into the frequency of flow. It lifts you from heaviness into hope, from scarcity into expansion, from confusion into clarity. A thought of lack and a thought of abundance cannot coexist. A thought of fear and a thought of faith cannot coexist. A thought of limitation and a thought of possibility cannot coexist. One must dominate. The law of substitution says you get to choose which one. You get to choose your mental reality. You get to choose your emotional vibration. You get to choose the energy you broadcast, and the energy you broadcast is what determines what you attract. Substitution is an act of courage. It means choosing the higher thought even when the lower one feels familiar. It means speaking victory when your circumstances show defeat. It means declaring abundance even when the numbers say otherwise. It means aligning with what you desire instead of aligning with what you fear. Your thoughts influence your reality, but your chosen thoughts create your destiny. Substitution is the bridge from fear to faith, from scarcity to prosperity, from limitation to expansion. And every time you choose the higher thought, you take one step closer to the life you truly want. Every word you speak is a seed cast into the invisible soil of life, and the moment it leaves your lips, it begins shaping circumstances, opportunities, and outcomes that move toward you. Most people underestimate this power because they treat their words casually, speaking about lack, fear, and limitation as if those statements carry no weight. But the universe is always listening. The law of expression responds not to what you hope for in silence, but to what you speak with conviction. This is why a shift in your language becomes a shift in your destiny. When you declare prosperity, you awaken the law that aligns circumstances to bring prosperity. When you speak abundance, you activate forces that guide you toward abundance. Everything begins with the spoken word, because your words imprint themselves upon your subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is the gateway to the invisible world where all things begin. Many people wonder why they work hard yet remain stuck in financial struggle. They labor with their hands, but their words tear down everything they build. They say, "Nothing works out for me. Money is hard to earn. I'm always behind. Life is unfair." And then they are puzzled when life continues to hand them more reasons to repeat those same sentences. But life cannot contradict your own declarations. Your words give orders and life obeys them. If you command lack through speech, lack organizes itself around you. If you command abundance through speech, abundance finds its way to you. Your words are the architects of your experience, and they are building something whether you realize it or not. The greatest shift in a person's financial life occurs not from trying harder, but from speaking differently. The moment you begin to watch your words, you become aware that every sentence carries a vibration. Some words drain your energy and shut the door of opportunity, while others elevate your frequency and open pathways you didn't even know existed. When you speak with faith, your words become alive. They carry the electricity of intention. They generate movement in the unseen realm long before the results appear in the physical world. And the most astonishing part is that the universe responds faster to your spoken word than it does to your silent thoughts. Thought is the spark, but speech is the command. There is power in saying, "I am wealthy," even before a single dollar appears. You are not lying, you are planting the seed. You are speaking into existence that which has not yet taken form. Just as a farmer does not doubt the seed he places in the soil, you must not doubt the seed of prosperity you place through your words. He may not see the plant for weeks, yet he waters the soil with faith. In the same way, you must water your declarations with repetition, belief, and gratitude. Say, "Money flows to me freely," and let life rearrange itself to fulfill that statement. Say, "Everything I touch prospers," and watch how situations begin to shift in your favor. Say, "I always have more than enough," and notice how your mind begins to guide you toward ideas, people, and actions that align with abundance. But some people sabotage their own words by speaking faith one day and canceling it the next. They say, "I know abundance is coming," and then later complain, "I never have enough." The law cannot respond to mixed signals. The universe cannot deliver abundance when your language keeps calling lack. You must speak with consistency, with firmness, with unwavering trust that your words are law. They do not return empty, they carry power. They carry creation, they carry the intelligence of the divine. Notice the language of people who rise financially. They speak about opportunities, not obstacles. They speak about solutions, not problems. They speak about expansion, not limitation. They speak expectantly, confidently, boldly, even before results show up. They do not shrink their words to match their circumstances. They elevate their words to shape new circumstances. They do not allow fear to dictate their speech. They let faith lead their tongue. They know that the spoken word is the wand that directs the energy of the universe. The moment you master your speech, you master the direction of your financial life. When you say, "I am open and ready for unexpected money," doors begin to unlock that you didn't even know were closed. When you say, "I attract golden opportunities," you align yourself with people and ideas that carry wealth. When you say, "My prosperity is inevitable," you step into a stream where success becomes natural rather than forced. You no longer chase abundance, you invite it, and abundance, being intelligent and responsive, comes toward the one who calls it. Everything begins to change when you speak as if what you desire is already true. The world responds to the tone of certainty. The universe moves toward conviction. When you say, "My financial breakthrough is here," you activate a law that begins moving people, situations, and circumstances in ways that support that breakthrough. You will meet the right person, stumble upon the right idea, feel a sudden inner prompting to take an action you had been avoiding, or notice an opportunity that seemed invisible before. None of these are coincidences. They are the results of your words reshaping the path before you. There is also great power in refusing to speak words of fear, doubt, and complaint. Silence is better than negativity. Every time you stop yourself from saying something destructive, you protect the field of your manifestation. When you reject negative speech, you reject negative outcomes. When you stop calling lack by name, lack stops answering you. When you stop repeating the story of hardship, hardship stops repeating itself in your life. Guard your tongue with the same vigilance that a king guards his kingdom. Your words are treasures. Spend them wisely. Some people claim that speaking abundance doesn't work, but the truth is that they speak abundance for 5 minutes and speak defeat for the rest of the day. They water the seed and then pull it from the soil. They declare prosperity but keep affirming struggle. The law responds faithfully to all words spoken with emotion, whether positive or negative. The challenge is not that the law doesn't work. The challenge is that people use it against themselves. But the moment you use this law deliberately, consistently, and with faith, your life begins to transform. A powerful shift happens when you begin speaking as if money is your ally, not your enemy. When you say things like, "Money loves to be around me," "Money comes to me in surprising ways," "I am worthy of wealth," you break the inner resistance that once kept abundance at a distance. Your subconscious mind begins to accept these ideas as truth, and the subconscious mind always manifests whatever it accepts. It does not argue. It does not analyze. It simply creates according to the blueprint of your dominant words and beliefs. This is why affirmations carry such power. They rewire the subconscious mind with the language of prosperity. The spoken word is the force that turns invisible thoughts into visible results. It is the bridge between the world of energy and the world of form. When you speak with intention, you become a creator rather than a reactor. You stop living at the mercy of chance and start living under the law of command. Life becomes something you direct, not something that happens to you. And as your language transforms, so does your financial reality. You begin to realize that you are never waiting for money. Money is waiting for your command. There is a mystery hidden in the way life moves, a silent pattern that becomes visible only to those who watch with spiritual eyes. Money, opportunities, and success never move at random. They follow certain people, not because those people are lucky or special, but because they have aligned themselves with a higher law. They carry an inner atmosphere that draws abundance the way a magnet draws metal. Wherever they go, life seems to open for them. Doors swing wide, people support them. Ideas flow toward them, and what seems difficult for others appears effortless for them. This is not magic. It is the result of an inner frequency produced by the words they speak, the thoughts they allow, and the beliefs they hold. Money follows the individual who speaks from a place of certainty. There is a different weight, a different energy in the words of someone who believes they are meant to prosper. When they say, "I always attract opportunities," something in those words acts like a beacon in the unseen realm. When they say, "I am supported in all I do," circumstances begin rearranging themselves to make that statement true. Money does not chase the insecure, the doubtful, or the hesitant. It flows to the one who stands firm in their spoken truth, the one who carries confidence as naturally as breath. True confidence is not arrogance, it is the quiet knowing that what is yours cannot pass you by. Observe people who constantly struggle with money, and you will notice a pattern in their speech. They speak of difficulty as if it is their identity. They say, "Nothing ever works for me. Every time I get ahead, something goes wrong. People like me never catch a break," and life mirrors those declarations back to them with precision. Money avoids them not because they are unworthy, but because they keep broadcasting a message of scarcity with every word. The universe cannot deliver abundance to someone whose spoken word contradicts it. The law is impartial. It obeys whatever is spoken with emotion. Now observe those who rise financially. They speak life into their affairs. They speak success into their path. They speak victory over every challenge. Their language does not match their circumstances. It shapes them. They may be facing setbacks, but you will never hear defeat in their tone. Even in the midst of difficulty, they speak as if abundance is guaranteed, and because of this, abundance becomes inevitable. Money follows them because their words give it permission to come. There is a deep spiritual truth here. Money gravitates toward order, clarity, and conviction. It flows toward the one who speaks with direction, who declares boldly what they expect from life. When you say, "I am worthy of wealth," you rise to the level where money can reach you. When you say, "My income is constantly increasing," you align yourself with the frequency that attracts increase. When you say, "Everything I need comes to me at the perfect time," timing begins to work in your favor. Your words create the magnetic field that determines whether abundance comes toward you or drifts away. People often try to chase money physically, working harder and harder, pushing themselves into exhaustion. But the spiritual law is clear. What you chase runs away. What you attract moves toward you effortlessly. Attraction is born from your vibration, and your vibration is shaped by your words. When your speech is rooted in fear, fear of not enough, fear of loss, fear of failure, you create resistance that pushes wealth away. But when your speech is rooted in faith, gratitude, and expectation, you create a smooth path for money to find you. Money also follows those who carry a vision. A person who speaks from vision is powerful. They talk about where they are going, not where they have been. They speak about what is unfolding, not what is falling apart. They speak from possibility, not limitation. Visionaries draw abundance because they speak with a creative force that commands attention from both the physical and the spiritual realms. When you speak in alignment with your vision, life begins to respond with resources that match it. Money follows vision the way water follows the pull of gravity. Opportunity behaves the same way. Opportunities are attracted to clarity. When you clearly state, "I am ready for greater," life hears you. When you declare, "I am prepared for new financial blessings," your subconscious mind begins scanning the world for evidence. You start noticing things you once ignored. You hear ideas you once dismissed. You recognize connections you once overlooked. Nothing outside you changed. Your language changed, and that shifted your perception. And perception determines your path. Money follows those who refuse to speak against themselves. There is immense power in refusing to say, "I can't afford this," and instead saying, "I am choosing something better right now." There is power in replacing "I'm always broke" with "my financial situation is improving every day." There is power in transforming "I never have luck" into "everything is working in my favor." These may seem like small changes, but spiritually they are monumental. Each statement is a command. Each command sets a new direction. Each direction shapes a new outcome. There is also a unique magnetic pull in gratitude. Those who speak with gratitude attract more to be grateful for. When someone says, "I am grateful for the money I have," they expand their capacity to receive more. When they say, "Money blesses my life and the lives of others," they activate the flow of giving and receiving. Gratitude is a multiplier. It takes whatever you have and magnetizes more of it. Money follows the grateful because gratitude creates a frequency that resonates with increase. Confidence, clarity, vision, and gratitude. These are the qualities carried by the people money follows. And every one of these qualities begins with speech. The way they speak to themselves, the way they speak about their future, the way they speak in everyday conversation. All of it broadcasts a message into the universe. All of it forms a vibration that acts like a magnet. All of it creates the conditions for wealth to grow. Money also follows the person who speaks as if success is natural. There is something powerful about someone who says, "Of course things work out for me," not in arrogance but in faith. When they speak, they release certainty. They send out a spiritual signal that says, "I expect good, and good is on the way." Life responds to expectation. Expectation is the invisible invitation that abundance cannot resist. When you expect wealth, you prepare space for it. When you prepare space, it arrives. Those who struggle financially often speak from a place of identity. They have tied their self-worth to their past experiences. They say, "I'm just not good with money. I come from nothing. People like me don't succeed," and these sentences become walls. But those who rise financially speak from a place of truth, not history. They say, "I am becoming prosperous, I am growing, I am expanding, I am stepping into abundance," and those sentences become doors. The past loses its grip the moment your words claim a new identity. Money follows the one who speaks life. Money follows the one who speaks possibility. Money follows the one who speaks with power. And when a person learns to discipline their words, they begin commanding the very forces that shape destiny. They no longer ask, "When will things get better?" Instead, they declare, "Things are getting better now." They no longer say, "I hope money comes someday." They say, "Money is flowing to me now." They no longer worry about the future. They speak the future into existence. Money follows the voice of certainty. It follows the one who has learned the ancient principle, "Speak it, and it shall be." There comes a moment in every person's life when they feel the nudge for change, a quiet inner pull, a whisper in the soul that says, "There is more available for you." But most people silence that whisper with doubt, fear, and logic. They look at their current situation and let it dictate what they believe is possible. They allow temporary circumstances to convince them that their future is limited. Yet the truth is entirely different. One shift in your mindset, one shift in your frequency, one shift in your spoken word can alter the entire direction of your financial life. And even more powerful is this: the shift can happen today. When you change the way you think about money, you change the way money responds to you. When you shift from scarcity to abundance, the universe must shift with you. For your outer world is the mirror of your inner world, and money reacts to the thoughts and beliefs you hold most firmly. Most people carry a mindset shaped by fear. Fear of not enough, fear of loss, fear of the future. Without realizing it, they send out a mental vibration that repels abundance. But once you become aware of the thoughts you think, the words you speak, the stories you repeat, you gain the power to transform them. And the moment you transform them, your life begins to reorder itself. This is why a single mental shift can be the turning point that leads to breakthroughs, opportunities, and prosperity. It is not the world that needs to change. It is the internal atmosphere from which you speak and think. When you say, "I am no longer available for scarcity," you draw a boundary in the spirit. When you declare, "I am ready for abundance," you open a new path. When you affirm, "Money is aligned with me," You step into a frequency where money can find you easily. This shift is not loud, it is not dramatic. It happens quietly within you, but its effects echo loudly through your external life. Many people believe they need a big event to change their financial situation. A promotion, a business partner, a lucky break, a sudden opportunity. But the truth is that the greatest breakthroughs begin in the unseen. They begin with a shift in consciousness. They begin when a person decides to think differently, speak differently, and carry themselves differently. The universe responds to inner change long before outer change becomes visible. And once the inner shift happens, the outer results appear in ways that seem almost magical. A powerful shift occurs when you stop identifying with struggle. People who remain tied to their old identity, I've always been broke, money is hard for me, my life never improves, unconsciously chain themselves to those patterns. But once you release the identity of limitation and begin to see yourself as someone who is meant to prosper, your entire vibration transforms. You begin thinking in terms of possibility rather than defeat. You begin noticing options rather than obstacles. You begin expecting good rather than bracing for disappointment. Expectation is one of the greatest forces in the universe. When you expect wealth, you create the mental space for it to enter. When you expect opportunities, you become more aware of them. When you expect progress, you begin moving in ways that make progress inevitable. This is why expectation must shift before your life can shift. An expectation is shaped by the words you repeatedly speak. When you say, "Good things always come to me," you prepare your reality to deliver good things. When you say, "Money flows to me from multiple sources," your mind begins noticing new avenues where money can appear. When you say, "I am ready for my next level," you activate the guidance, intuition, and inspiration that lead you to it. One of the most transformative shifts is the realization that abundance is not something you chase. It is something you attract by who you become. The moment you begin seeing money not as a struggle but as a natural part of life, your relationship with it softens, the fear dissolves, the desperation dissolves, you no longer cling, you no longer beg. You no longer feel unworthy, you step into a state of alignment, and aligned individuals attract money without force. They draw success because their energy signals readiness, openness, and confidence. Another powerful shift happens when you let go of the story that money is limited. Life is abundant, ideas are abundant, opportunities are abundant, support is abundant, but people restrict their access to abundance by insisting that resources are scarce. When you shift from the belief that money is limited to the belief that money is everywhere, you begin behaving differently. You make decisions from empowerment rather than fear. You see possibilities where others see dead ends. You take steps that expand your world instead of shrinking it. This shift is the reason why some people rise quickly, while others remain stuck. Those who rise allow their inner world to evolve. They speak words of growth even while standing in difficulty. They think thoughts of increase even when surrounded by lack. They carry themselves with confidence even when their bank account is empty. They understand that they are not defined by their current situation. They are defined by the energy they hold. And because of that energy, life begins to restructure itself around them. Financial breakthroughs are not random events. They are responses. They are responses to a mind that has awakened. They are responses to a spirit that has decided to believe in abundance. They are responses to a person who refuses to settle for less. When you shift your inner conversation, you shift your future. When you shift your beliefs, you shift your outcomes. When you shift your self-image, you shift your destiny. There is also a profound shift that happens when you release resistance. Many people unknowingly resist money by believing they don't deserve it, by feeling guilty when they receive it, or by associating wealth with selfishness. These forms of resistance push abundance away, even when a person is working hard to attract it. But the moment you release these emotional blockages and accept that you are worthy of wealth, deserving of ease, and capable of handling abundance. You open the floodgates. Money flows where it is welcomed. It avoids where it is feared. When you stop resisting it, you allow it to enter freely. The shift that transforms your financial life is not complicated. It is simple, but it requires honesty. It requires awareness of the words you've been speaking, the beliefs you've been holding, and the stories you've been repeating. It requires courage to replace old patterns with new ones. It requires faith to speak abundance even when your situation hasn't changed yet. But once the shift happens, it sets off a chain reaction. You begin feeling different. You begin thinking different. You begin speaking different. And soon, life begins responding differently. Today can be the day that changes everything. Today can be the day you say, I release the old and welcome the new. Today can be the day you choose abundance over fear. Today can be the day you align your thoughts, your words, and your energy with prosperity. Every great transformation begins in a single moment. The moment you decide that you are ready for more. The moment you shift your inner world, your outer world must follow. There is a sacred power hidden inside the words you speak every single day. And most people move through life without ever realizing the extraordinary force they are releasing with their tongue. You can lift your life with your words, or you can limit your life with your words. You can call blessings toward you, or you can push them away. And the simplest yet most profound truth is this. When you speak certain words with feeling, consistency, and belief, they begin reshaping your reality. When you declare abundance daily, you train your mind to expect it, your energy to attract it, and your environment to reflect it. So many people struggle financially not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because their mouth works against their dreams. They speak about scarcity every morning and then wonder why scarcity greets them every night. They say, nothing ever goes right for me, and life arranges itself to match those words. They say, I never have enough, and lack takes that as an invitation. Words do not disappear into thin air. They plant themselves into the deepest soil of your subconscious mind, and once planted, they begin producing fruit. That is why saying something powerful every day, even a single phrase, can transform the course of your financial life. When you speak abundance daily, you signal to your subconscious mind that abundance is your natural state. You begin rewiring your inner dialogue, shifting the emotions you feel, and elevating the vibration you carry. And as your vibration rises, the world responds. People treat you differently. Opportunities appear where there were none. Ideas flow with ease. Your creativity increases. Your confidence strengthens. These are not coincidences. They are the visible results of an invisible shift that began with your words. There is power in saying, money flows to me easily, even before money is visible. You are not describing what you see. You are commanding what you desire. You are speaking from truth, not circumstance. You are aligning yourself with the natural abundance of the universe. When you repeat this statement daily, you start to feel more ease in your mind. Mental tension dissolves. Worry begins to fade, and when you stop worrying, you open space for solutions to enter. Daily declarations like everything is working out for me reorganize your inner world. You no longer wake up expecting problems. You wake up expecting blessings. And when you walk through life expecting blessings, you notice doors that were always there but previously invisible. You feel guided rather than lost. You feel supported rather than alone. This state of inner trust creates a powerful magnetic field around you. And in that magnetic field, abundance becomes inevitable. The moment you begin speaking certain words daily, you begin training your subconscious mind to accept abundance as your identity. Most people try to change their finances from the outside, working harder, hustling more, exhausting themselves. But real wealth begins from the inside. It begins with the internal conversation you have with yourself. When your inner language shifts, your outer results follow. A simple daily phrase like, I always have more than enough, carries tremendous spiritual weight. At first, Your mind may resist it. Your circumstances may contradict it. But if you continue, something begins to change. Those words start sinking deeper and deeper into your subconscious. Your energy changes. The fear of lack loosens its grip. You begin making decisions from confidence rather than anxiety. And confident decisions create prosperous outcomes. Daily declarations do not work because the words themselves are magic. They work because they reprogram the subconscious, reshaping the beliefs that shape your life. The subconscious mind controls your habits, your expectations, your emotional responses, and your financial decisions. It determines whether you see possibilities or problems. It determines whether you hold onto money or repel it. It determines whether you act boldly or shrink back in fear. And the subconscious accepts repeated spoken words faster than anything else. You can transform years of negative programming with consistent spoken truth. You can dismantle the old structures of fear by waking up every day and speaking differently. Say, I am supported by life, and soon you will feel support. Say, money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways, and soon unexpected opportunities will appear. Say, I attract wealth with ease, and your mind will begin generating ideas and intuitions that lead toward wealth. Daily declarations also generate momentum. One sentence spoken daily for 30 days can achieve what struggle and effort never could. You begin transforming your vibration. You begin aligning with the frequency of abundance, and once aligned, you no longer need to chase. Things begin coming toward you. There is enormous spiritual power in persistence. Saying something once does very little. Saying something daily with emotion, intention, and belief builds spiritual energy. It builds momentum in the unseen. It builds a force that begins influencing your physical world. Just